Welcome to Life Wisdom Network, your source for career success. I'm Felicia Zimmerman, and today in part 3 of How to Network, we're going to look at doing a role play. So Ed and I will be role playing.
Hello everyone, my name is Ed Ford Jr.
Ed, let's imagine this scenario. Let's say that besides politics, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, so you're also thinking of corporate, and you're thinking of maybe corporate PR, community affairs. And through a little bit of research, you find that your Rotary International is going to have an event honoring, giving an award to a woman who's a senior vice president of community affairs or PR at a bank. So of course, you're kind of thinking, gee, let me go look up research about her. And you research about her and you see that she went to community college. And after community college, the job she got was working as a teller at a bank. But she took advantage of that. I mean, it was another year when getting a job was difficult. And she took advantage of that. She learned all she could about community banking and branch banking. And then she went to her branch manager and volunteered to help out with local events, developing them and executing them. So eventually what happened is she not only learned about banking, but she learned about PR and community events. And when an opening arose in the corporation's community affairs or public relations department, she was recommended. And the rest, as they say, is history. So you're going to an event to meet her, and perhaps you're thinking about the fact that you admire her and you've seen what she's done and you've done this or that, and you'd like to figure out how you could follow in her footsteps. So anyway, we can try it. I'll leave this to you.
Definitely. So I'm going to be the person who's coming up to
and you. I'm going to be, and I can be Felicia Zimmerman, the person. So
awesome. Well, hello, Felicia Zimmerman. My name is Ed Ford.
Glad to meet you, Ed.
Well, I've been following your career, and I've seen a lot of the successes that you've made. And I'm following in the same career path as I've just graduated college.
Oh.
Yes, and I'm very interested in all of the great accomplishments that you've been able to make in that field. How do I begin a career in what you're doing?
Ed, I'm flattered that you looked up, you did your homework, and you read about me. As you may have seen, I started very humbly. I mean, the only position I could get, and I really was interested in going into banking, I had to start at the bottom. So I started as a teller. Through working with my branch manager, I learned an awful lot about branch banking, but I also volunteered. I stepped up to the plate and said, I want to get involved in the community, representing our bank in the community, and I did that. And so eventually, when there was an opportunity, my boss, who's great, we still work together, he recommended me for an opportunity that opened up. And it wasn't the vice president yet, but it was a great opening in the corporate bank's public affairs department. So I grabbed it, and the rest is history.
Wow. That is amazing hearing you tell of this history that you've had in your career. So it sounds to me like you really have to just work hard, place yourself out there, and when the time is right, an opportunity will present itself.
I think that a lot of that is true. I'm sure there was some luck component and God was looking out for me, but I think in general, those are true. Are there some other specific questions I could answer for you?
Most definitely. When I get to the level of working in a company, how do I make myself visible?
Ed, I'd love to answer that, but I just got a text from my CEO. I need to get back. Maybe you could call my office next week, ask for my assistant, Jonathan Smith, and get on my calendar.
Okay, do you have a card?
Oh, sure. Here's my card. You can call my direct line. And I look forward to seeing you. I'm sorry we have to cut our conversation short.
That's okay. I'll call Jonathan Smith next week, and I'll get in touch with your office.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Obviously, every role play is going to be different. But I think what you can see is that Ed clearly he did his homework. He knew why he wanted to be there. He'd like to follow in her footsteps in PR in a banking field. He said his name, and he had a hook, which was basically very flattering to her because he did his homework and he wanted to follow in her footsteps. So good job, Ed.
Thank you.
Now, the only problem with networking that many of you may have imagined is so far we've talked about the good side. Well, there's always some problems. And in part 4, unfortunately, we're going to look at some of the no-nos for networking. And there are no-nos.